What's going on, guys? This is the Kentucky Prime Sports Podcast. My name is Devin Hood, here with Gibb, Stewart, Burke, and Austin. We've got quite a bit of Kentucky basketball news to talk about, right, guys?
That's right.
First things first, Jaxson Robinson confirmed out for the season. You know, we're a little late on this where we only record on Fridays. But
We knew it.
Yeah, we knew it. But he has had, successful surgery. Wrist is going to be on the mend, but he's not going to make his return for the Kentucky Wildcats this year. Kirk Risa also ruled out for the season. Officially. Yeah, everybody was thinking that was going to be the case anyway.
Yeah.
He'd be worse off trying to come in for the last, SEC tournament.
When you don't play for 2 months, you lose all your conditioning. It wouldn't have worked out.
Yeah. But before we move into anything else, I'm going to give the floor to Austin here. Kentucky played Auburn last Saturday, and on that podcast, if anybody listened to it, he kind of called it. He said, Janai Broome is a bum. He said Amari Williams is probably going to have his way with him. And Austin, what happened?
Exactly what we said. Broome's a bum. The old age got to him. If you're up by 15 and your quote unquote best player has 1 point, he's probably not your best player.
Yeah, going into the half, 1 point. He finished with nine.
Williams cooked him.
He really did. And
I actually gained respect for Williams after that game just for exposing him,
Yeah. I don't think that's happened to Johnny Broome this year.
No, and then the next game, I think he scored 8.
Yeah. They might have broke him.
Might have broke him. I love
Broome.
Which, I'll tell you what, who was their guard that hit all the threes?
I can't remember his name.
Miles Kelly.
He hit like 9 threes against Texas A&M. The game they lost, he went 0-4. I don't think he hit a single one.
I say they kind of got smacked by A&M.
Yeah. So, they played in Rupp. You got the big lights. You got the big moment. They came out to play. Just goes to show you, we're everybody's Super Bowl, man.
We're everybody's Super Bowl.
But, yeah, Johnny Broome, Austin called it right down to the T. 9 points. Just looked absolutely terrible the entire game, pretty much. Go ahead. They
basically said, we can't let him beat us. And he didn't beat us.
No.
But the rest of the team sure did.
Yeah, well, they had just great shooting night.
Yeah.
If somebody's that hot, you're going to be in a tough place.
Without having Robinson, one of your top scorers, and Oway being in foul trouble early, that we never really had a shot to begin with.
Yeah. What do you think's going on with Otega Oway?
I think he's in his head.
Think so?
I think it's all in his head.
He's had more bad games here in the last 2 weeks than he's had all year for sure.
The rest of the previous 20-something games we've played, he's played decently well in almost every game.
Yeah.
It's just I think he's just in a bit of a slump right now.
Yeah. Hopefully, he gets out of that. He looked really good against Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And then, lays the egg against Auburn. So-so against LSU.
So-so, yeah.
Or are we wrong about that? Did he go off against LSU?
I think the whole team went off.
Yeah, the whole team might have
I want to say Oway had like 26 against LSU.
Yeah, I think he did, actually. We said so-so.
Yeah. That's so-so to him.
Yeah. I'm going to think he might have been our league scorer.
Yeah.
Oway with 24.
Yeah.
Almost 15. Garrison 15. Chandler 11.
May have been a season high.
No, his season highs at Oklahoma. He had 30.
Okay. Yeah. So, played great. Well, what do you guys think about the Auburn game, though, since we didn't, haven't had a chance to talk about that since it happened?
It's ugly. Ugly all-around defense. We were poor decision-making on defense. And on offensive side, we weren't playing our game. We were playing the dribble drive game, and that's not who we are. We're a spread the floor, shoot 35 threes a game type of team, and we just didn't play our game.
Yeah. Yeah. What stuck out to you about the Auburn game?
Well, besides just not being able to watch the last little bit of the game, it wasn't a great performance at all. We weren't clicking. We got in foul trouble early. Just wasn't really a great start that we know we can have, and we've had plenty of times.
Yeah, they came out Auburn and started against us how we start against teams.
Yeah.
Putting them down big in the hole. And from that point on, it's just like, okay, if they come back from this, it'll be a miracle.
We were playing catch up the whole game. You can't win like that.
Yeah. I think what was the closest they got? It was 6.
Yeah, and that was very early on.
Yeah.
First half, they dropped 49, we dropped 34.
Yeah.
Second half, we come out, we're a little bit better off doing. We dropped 44, they have 45. But yeah, we were just playing from too much of a deficit, and they were lights out. Like,
Yeah.
it's hard whenever both of those things are happening at the same time to still come out with a victory.
Right. Like I said, Kelly ends up hitting 9 threes. I mean, how often does that happen?
It's hard to beat that.
9 threes is insane.
Then the next game they come out and lose to A&M.
Yeah. Which, I mean, that was a perfect little trap game for them. That was actually what bumped A&M up ahead of us in the NCAA tournament seeding at the moment, was getting that win against Auburn. They took our spot on the 3 line. But, Auburn had already won the SEC regular season title. There was nothing to play for at that point, quote unquote, to play for against Texas A&M. Personally, I mean, I wouldn't want to lose that game, but that's just me.
No.
Yeah, I think you want to win that.
No, I mean, I would. I mean, if you've been so dominant in the SEC all year, like what? Finish out strong.
Finish out strong, yeah.
But what did you guys think about not being able to see the last 12 minutes of the game?
I wasn't too mad about it.
Wasn't too mad about it.
It was probably going to get turned off at a certain point anyway, so
Yeah.
it just did it for me.
Well, so actually, Gib, you didn't get to watch the game in real time on Saturday,
No.
right? Did you peek and figure out what happened, or did you go into that game whenever you got home Saturday not knowing a thing?
So whenever I got home, I was waiting for Tyler to show up, and he already looked at the score and he already knew what happened. So we were going to watch the game again. He cheated, and we were watching one game live, and I saw the bottom, the scoreboards. And I was like, well, that is what it is. So I went through and watched a couple different YouTube videos of highlights and then gameplay, and sped it up a little bit just to get through it. So I wasn't going to be happy watching it. So why spend the full 20 minutes watching it?
Do you think this is going to be something that continues in SEC play and NCAA tournament play? Is us missing games? Oklahoma, we didn't get to tune into that until there was 6 minutes and 47 seconds left in the first. You lose the last 12 minutes of Auburn. The last 2 games are prior to LSU for Kentucky playing. You got to see maybe 1 full game out of 2.
Yeah. The Auburn game, that was just a fluke thing. When the band that's broadcasting the game catches on fire, there's not much you can do about that.
Yeah.
But
Kentucky fans did not burn it.
we did not burn it,
Yeah.
as far as I know.
It wasn't a couch, so.
Was it not a couch?
Or car.
But as far as the
Car, yeah.
Oklahoma game goes, the SEC network's got to do better about spacing the games out more.
Yeah.
And it's also got to have to do with, games that last so much longer now because of the replay reviews.
Yeah.
They
need to chill with that.
Yeah, dude, they look at everything.
They say
Everything.
I think it was the Oklahoma game. The first half took an hour and 20 minutes.
That's insane.
That's ridiculous.
I think they need to go to, instead of a 2-hour showtime, they need to go to a 2.5-hour showtime.
That or change the rule with replay. You get one coach gets 1 replay per half. If you win it, you keep it. If you lose it, you lose it.
Yeah, you can't look at every single thing.
You can't look at everything.
Especially if it's a 10-point game, 20-point game, where there's no hope of the team that's wanting to review a play can win. They still review it.
Or why are they reviewing out of bounds calls in the first half when there's still 12 minutes left?
Right.
That's not a game-making decision.
Right. If you were too blind to make that call in real time, you don't get the camera to the replay to back you up and confirm your decision.
Yeah.
Right, because at this point, anybody can be a ref.
Yeah, that's what you're there for, is to make that split decision. Hey, out on white, out on blue, whatever. You don't get to go to the monitor and be like, okay, well, I was wrong.
I said, these refs make too much money to rely on the monitors like they do.
Right.
What are they getting paid to do? Just sit there and go replay after replay?
Yeah, like Austin said, at that point, anybody can be a ref.
Make that call and stick to that call.
Yeah.
It might be bad. It might not be. But
Might
you
get
get
after the game, might not.
Yeah.
I would say my big thing is, why is college basketball the only form of basketball that is played in halves, not quarters?
That's a good question.
That is a great question, actually. I don't know why we do that.
What do you guys think about the half versus quarter debate?
I would much rather quarters.
You'd rather?
I'd rather do quarters.
I
like
dude,
the
I kind
halves,
of like the
man.
halves.
The halves is great and all,
It's nostalgic.
but you can cut out one TV timeout, or at least reposition it in between quarters. So you give them that time they know they're already going to have off and everything, so they're not losing time there. But even if you just kept it 40-minute games, 10-minute quarters,
Yeah.
no big deal. But you have a couple more buzzer beaters. Maybe makes the game a little bit more exciting.
It'd speed the game up.
Yeah, and it would help speed the game up and just make it a little smoother.
No,
If they went to quarters, would you want 10-minute quarters or would you want 12-minute quarters?
I mean, I would prefer 12s.
Or
Yeah,
just
But-
go full on NFL 15-minute quarters.
let's do it.
that's where you get the 3-hour games.
That'd be brutal.
So, I mean, at that point, if you do 12-minute quarters, like you're still helping condition them a little bit better to get like used to NBA.
I don't see the problem with it.
No.
What if we just eliminate TV timeouts?
I agree.
You guys don't need all these
No.
commercials.
You can tune in to any game at any given time and it's on a TV timeout, 100%.
Yeah.
100% change.
If I turn on a basketball game, I should not go straight to a commercial.
No.
And that's what happens 99% of the time.
4 minutes in, you're in your first TV timeout.
Yeah.
4 minutes.
If they just played the game, it'd be an hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, I get, it helps the guys get a little refreshed and everything. But these are prime athletes.
Top tier athletes.
Yeah.
This ain't
And-
high school or middle school no more.
18, 19, 20-year-old men out here,
Yeah. Cut like horses.
and they're prime. So, like, why can they not handle, like, going more than 4 minutes without a breather?
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, 100%. One thing, too, that I've noticed is, we're letting players kind of dictate going to the review. And I seen it with Amari Williams. Yeah, kind of bashing Kentucky a little bit.
A player should not be allowed to do that.
Amari Williams, I don't remember, it might have been the Oklahoma game, I think it was, but he goes to the ref and he's like, hey, I got smacked. And instead of the ref be like, okay, well, I didn't see it, we'll check it out next time, they go straight to the
That should
monitor.
not initiate a booth review.
No. So, the player doesn't dictate you going to the monitor just saying, hey, he got slapped. You miss fouls. I mean, stuff happens.
I can
Part of
understand
the game.
getting smacked in the back of the head or
Yeah,
getting your
something,
eye poked.
get
If it's something to the face or something
flagrant-worthy.
deliberate, yeah, sure,
Yeah.
go look at it. But if I just nudge Stewart over here, are we going to go look at it every time?
Yeah, and I think actually the Amari Williams argument was he got hit in the nuts. But
But that happens.
If you get hit in the nuts, go down.
Go down.
Take a dive.
Yeah, make it look like you just got murdered.
Yeah.
But instead, no, you kept playing on, and then at the, I think he got a foul called on him or something, and then he went up and he was like, hey, I fouled him because I got hit. It's like, no, you should have went down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to start coaching, boys. But anytime you get touched, I want you to, well, I guess that's flopping at that point.
Yeah, we don't want flopping.
But
Flopping.
sometimes
Sometimes you got to do it.
yeah,
Gotcha.
you can't go to the ref and be like, hey, this is what happened. You got to make the case for yourself.
But you can't do it every time.
Yeah, and then you, if you're the ref, you can't just take a player's word for it.
The ref needs to stand by his call, no
Yeah.
matter what.
I agree with that.
Watch for it next time. Kind of.
Yeah,
Watch for it next time,
Next
yeah.
time. Hey, we missed that one if it happened, but we'll get you on the next
I
one.
remember Sean McVay. I'm pretty sure had something like, "Watch this tight end."
Yeah.
Whenever he tries to break out or something like
He's
that,
holding
he's
every
holding
time.
every time. And
Yeah.
next thing you know, he holds him and they throw the flag.
Yep,
Yeah.
I do remember that clip.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. We've got a lot of good points here. I think Burke's right. You start out with one challenge or one replay. And if you win, you get to keep it. If you lose, you lose it.
Right.
And get rid of TV timeouts. We don't need breaks. I think we should just run them a full 140-minute quarter.
Send it.
Yeah.
No timeouts, nothing.
Hockey substitutions.
No
Oh,
time
really?
limit. First to 100 wins it.
Dude, Kentucky would probably win a few games that way.
That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be like the NBA All-Star game.
Yeah.
Wow.
Except it was like first to 40.
Speaking of that, they need to change that, dude. I
That
know
whole
they were trying
thing's a
something
joke.
different. That wasn't
Man.
it.
It's a joke.
NBA players are the best ball players in the world. They can score 40 in 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Literally, the only All-Star game that matters is the MLB All-Star game. The NFL doesn't mean nothing. NBA doesn't mean anything now.
The NHL did a really good thing this year.
I said I don't
with
want.
the whole four.
Yeah. That
was it
rivalry.
Four countries?
Yeah.
What do they call it?
That's what it was.
Four
Something like Four
nations.
Four
nations.
nations.
Yeah.
Four nations. That was
Yeah,
their
that was
all-star.
cool.
That
sweet.
was
That was
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've got all these good ideas floating around in the professional sports league. The NFL and NBA is going to have to adapt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it makes no sense if guys go out there and just jack up 43s and, it not mean anything. Not go out there and try.
Yeah.
Fans pay a lot of money to see these games, and they're getting a half-assed performance.
Yeah. No, I agree completely. One thing, too, you just said, spending a lot of money. Made me think about what do you guys think about the new court storming thing? Have you seen what teams are starting to do?
I haven't
So-
done
They're
it.
basically asking students not to storm the court because it cost them what, $2 million, $20 million, something like that. Every
No,
time they
it's
storm.
like
So
250,000, then 500,000, then $1 million or something. Like
Yeah,
that.
so
something
what,
like that.
what they've started to do is it's no longer considered a court storm if the team you beat is off the floor. So
Really?
so they're like, hey, you have to wait. Give the other team time to get off the floor. 30 seconds. After that 30 seconds, then the fans can storm.
That's not
the
as
I
court.
like that.
By that time, though, your emotions are gone. You're like, all right, we won. Let's go home.
But I see. I mean, I see why they're doing that.
Because they're not having to pay the
Yeah.
pay the fine.
And
that
it
way.
keeps the other team's players
Safe.
from getting trampled to
Yeah.
death.
I do like that.
Yeah.
That's
I mean-
it's a safety thing.
Yeah.
I like court storming to begin with, But yeah, I could see.
Yeah, I don't want to pay the $500,000 fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But that's the thing
I think
coaches
you
are
should-
starting to do, or like athletic directors, are like, hey, wait until the team gets off the court, and then you guys can come on, because then it saves them the fine.
That's way better than no court storming.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, it's better than no court
Yeah.
storming, but also at the same time, like, hey, if you beat Kentucky, give me my millie.
Yeah.
Like I want,
It's
I want
NIL
that,
money.
Yeah, I want that cash.
No,
so, like,
they wait
kinda
30
found a
seconds.
way around it. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Speaking of court storming, also, have you guys seen on Twitter, TikTok, whatever, I guess, the new Storm Chasers? Y'all know what that is?
It's is that Barstool?
Barstool Storm Chasers. So remember it back in the day, it was Caleb Presley.
Yeah.
And it was, what's his guy's name?
I see his face. I don't know.
Caleb and,
The big guy.
yeah.
You talking about
Glenny Bell?
Yeah,
Glenny Balls.
Glenny
Yeah.
Balls.
It was Caleb, Glenny Balls, like the OG
Yeah.
group of that guy or guys. So now, they've gotten too big. Obviously, Caleb and Glenny aren't with Barstool anymore.
So they're doing their own thing now, aren't they?
So now it's two girls.
Yeah.
What do y'all think about that?
One was a pretty recent hire. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they're
fresh.
yeah, they're both pretty
Yeah.
fresh. They've tried to reinvigorate the Storm Chasers. They keep going to games that they're not storming the court at all. They keep picking the worst games to go to. So they're going to games like every night. No upsets are happening with them in attendance.
It's not good.
It's not a good look.
It's
No.
not a good look.
And then just the energy's not there.
No, it's no.
No disrespect at all, but
Yeah, it's not.
you got to have
Yeah.
personalities to make that work.
Yeah, it's not Caleb.
Like Caleb
Or-
Presley
or
had
like-
the perfect personality for that.
Oh, dude, yeah. He's
Or like it's not like Dana Beers or whatever going out there.
Yeah.
It's
It's too. I mean,
I don't know what they do.
I don't know what they are, or not know what they are, but I don't know who they are. I don't know what they do.
I don't know.
They just started popping up in the Fisher gear and like, hey, we're the Storm Chasers
Yeah.
now. And it feels very forced.
Yeah, it does.
Like I don't want to watch that.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
authentic.
Somebody else could have done that. I don't know.
Maybe get Big Cat out there to do it.
Send Dave
Yeah.
Portnoy out there.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Dude, so it's kind of every time we say something, it makes me think of something else. Has anybody been following Big Cat's bets?
He was like dialed in.
He's
this
13-0 in the month of March.
Crazy.
I followed him on the last two, dude. I don't
Cashed?
know. I just caught, I caught it day 11, I think.
Mm.
Day 11 cashed, day 12 cashed. I've doubled it up each time, and so I put the full amount tonight. He did. It was Colorado State and Boise. He took the over for that
Over.
game. At this point, I was at like $60. So 60 pays out another 60 because it's
Yeah.
right at even. So I'm hoping to get a nice 120 out of it tonight.
It'd be cool.
Not bad.
Yeah, but 13-0 in the month of March.
That's crazy.
I wish we could get on a run like
So
that.
you just do like
That'd be
one
cool.
bet per night?
He just does, yeah. So far, he's been doing one per night. He said if he gets to Saturday, so it gets to tomorrow, he'll start doing maybe two. He said for everybody telling me to do two, he's like, number one, you're greedy. Like,
Yeah. And
yeah.
Yeah.
And so he posted a picture of his slip today. He's putting money on it. The big thing about the Kentucky Prime Picks podcast is, check that out. We give sports bets as well. Talk about other things. That's kind of the catch-all for our podcast stuff. You'll learn a lot of good stuff. Listen to some good laughs if you want to tune into that. But, we talk about doing $5 and $10 bets. Big Cat's putting out like $20,000.
Yeah.
He did like $20,000 last night and $150.
I mean, but is that the same as like $5 to $10 for us?
Yes, it is.
You're
But
not gonna name like Big Cat if you.
If you ain't got the big
bet-
money.
But he'll just do it on minus 100 odds.
Yeah.
You know,
and that's
like,
what it was. It was $25,000 on a minus 110.
Yeah.
And it paid out another, 25,000. So it's like, gosh, it'd be my luck. I'd put 20 grand on something that was guaranteed,
And then lose.
It'd lose.
Lose your life savings.
But-
Yeah.
Yeah, he's also been doing this for 10
Long,
years at least, and it's like he's probably been losing up until now. You know,
It was funny. Somebody in the comments asked, like, how many bets would you have to win straight to recoup what you've lost over the years? He said, I'd probably have to win 1,000 to nothing.
yeah,
He's like, I'd have
exactly.
to go on a heater.
Yeah,
So, I mean, but 13-0 in the month of March, pretty crazy.
impressive.
Yeah, hopefully whenever the SEC, ACC, and NCAA tournament roll around,
Oh, that's
we
big.
get on a little streak ourselves here. I think we're going to be pretty hot on
I
it.
feel it coming.
I feel it coming, yeah.
Gonna be dialed in for that.
So, if you're wanting to look at any of those, check out the Kentucky Prime Picks podcast. We post those on the same platforms that you find this one on. And, if you're not into sports betting, like I said, it's kind of our catch-all. We talk about a little bit of everything on there. So you'll definitely hear something that hopefully you find interesting. Moving back in, though, to our Kentucky basketball. Tough loss Saturday to Auburn. Moved in to our weekday game and absolutely dog-walked LSU. That was a feel-good win.
Oh yeah, we haven't had a win like that in a long time.
It's been a while since they started a game, dominated, full 40 minutes.
Say what they went up like 12 or something like that in like the first 5 minutes.
Yeah. I was at work when that game was on, and I had it on the projector behind me, and so I'm out doing something, and it was still like 2 minutes in, so it was still pretty close, and I come back and look, and they're, like you said, they're up 15 or something. I'm like,
Yeah.
Jesus, what happened? Then I turn around and look, Colin Chandler 3. I'm like, oh, okay, so we're playing.
We're winning.
We're playing.
Yeah.
What did you guys? What stuck out to you all about the LSU game?
Just the overall, team effort on that. There wasn't like one guy that carried the team. It was a combined effort from everybody. Bench players, starters, everybody.
Absolutely, that's one thing. Against Auburn, I think our bench scored 5 points.
Yeah.
Against LSU, our bench scored 35 or 40.
Something like that.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it was a total 180 from
And
what we had seen.
and that's what we desperately needed after the Auburn loss.
For sure. Yeah, looking at that, Kentucky wins 64-95. Looking at the box score,
One thing that stands out, 100% from free throws.
needed
11 for 11.
it. Needed it. Another thing, too, stat-wise, we shot 32 threes.
That's what we need.
That's what we need.
That's our game.
Yep, that's what Mark Pope said at the beginning of the year. Go ahead, Gib.
Huge thing. Our turnovers were in the single digits. It's
Yeah.
been rare. There was a certain point up until maybe 8 to go in the second half, we were at 5 turnovers.
Yeah.
And I looked over at Tyler and I was like, when was the last time you've seen us have 20 assists and 5 turnovers in the second half at all? It's like, I can't remember a game. It's not happened too often this season.
Right. I mean, I think against Auburn we had 5 turnovers in a 2-minute span.
5 seconds?
Yeah. I mean, there was a rough stretch in there with turning the ball over, just not being able to complete a pass. But, Otega Owe, like we said earlier, 24 points. Ansley Almore had 15. Brandon Garrison, 15. Colin Chandler, 11. I mean, we got the whole entire team in. We shot 37% from 3, 12 for 32, 50% from the field. Like Gibbs said, just the assist-to-turnover ratio. I mean, that's what you're looking for.
Just good team ball overall.
Good team ball for sure.
I'll say, we've had a few wins where we still have 15, 18 turnovers, and somehow to pull out, a 10, 15-point win, it's like, how did we manage that?
Yeah. And I think, another big thing, too, like Gib was talking about, where did I see it? I don't know, I've lost it. But another big thing, rebounding. We had 38 rebounds, they had 30. Like Gib said, 22 assists, perfect from the free throw line. That was a feel-good game, what they really needed. One thing that I'm a little worried about, and I actually heard this, I'd been thinking it, but I heard it confirmed on KSR earlier in the week. When was the last time we won multiple games in a week? Can y'all think about it?
January?
I say maybe we played Florida.
We beat Brown and then we beat Florida. We have not won 2 games in a week the whole entire calendar year.
That's not good.
Pre-SEC
We would go, win 1, lose 1, win 1, lose 1.
That's not good.
So, do we end the season, beat LSU on Tuesday, play Missouri Saturday? Do we keep that streak alive or do we break it?
It's very, very possible we keep that streak alive.
I hope not.
I hope not.
Like, I've been thinking about that because it was like, we would win a big game and then we dropped to Vandy.
Yeah.
We'd beat Tennessee, dropped to, Georgia.
Yeah.
But, having not won 2 games in a week in this calendar year of 2025.
That makes me nervous for the tournament.
Yeah, because what's the big thing about the tournament, guys?
It's all
Back-to-back wins.
You got to win.
You got to succeed and proceed.
Yeah. You
But
gotta
I will say
5 games, 6 games straight.
5 games straight.
What is the last 3 games we've had the same lineup or starting lineup or something like that? So 2 or 3 games is what we've had having the actual same 5 guys
Yeah, there's been
come
a
on
lot
the
of
court and actually play and get 20 plus minutes.
for sure. Yeah, obviously you don't want Jaxson Robinson going down, but I think this will help solidify the lineup because you're not worried about, okay, well, is he going to play? What percent is he at? Is he going to be good enough to kind of come in and give us minutes? It's for sure, hey, he's not coming in. He's done for the year. Next guy needs to step up. So maybe that'll kind of just clear the headspace of the team.
It's not a whole lot of wondering, will he come back? Will we make it to the tournament? Will we do this? Will we do that? It's set in stone now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's huge. So,
one thing that I noticed from the LSU game, first TV timeout, we changed one guy.
yeah.
Rare. That first TV timeout, it's usually whole new line, maybe one guy stays in. But we just had one guy come off the bench, still had 4 starters in. It kind of started to show, okay, we're starting to get solidified. Everybody's getting in their roles, knowing, okay, I've got these minutes I can play if, everything's going great.
Yep.
If, Williams gets in foul trouble, okay, Garrison, Allman, or somebody's going to come in. So, and fill those minutes. But we've got to where it's okay, we can actually be on the floor for a minute. We're going, we're staying hot. And then we just pulled out a couple 12-0 runs.
Yeah.
While everybody was still in and still fluid together.
For sure. Mark Pope really tightened up the lineups. Up until I think the LSU game, first TV timeout, he's subbing, like you said, he's subbing 5 guys.
And
it just, we've seen too many times this year we're up, 20-8. And then the first TV timeout, 5 new guys come in. And that 20-8 lead's now a 20-16 lead.
It just kills all your momentum when you do that.
Yeah, and like we talked about, these guys are too good, too conditioned. They don't need a break after 6 minutes.
No.
if they do, back to the treadmill.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Get in the pool, getting something, get extra cardio.
I say, if you can't play 35 minutes,
Yeah.
and you're a 22-year-old athlete, you should not be playing at the University of Kentucky.
And I think all these guys can. I think it's just, we've talked about Mark Pope and his efficiency stat. How many minutes can he play and get 100% effort out of these guys? Well, is Amari Williams at 80% effort still better than Brandon Garrison at 100%?
I think he is.
Coming down the stretch, you gotta, take the guys that put you in the best spot to win.
So, is he saying, all right, if Amari hits his 23 minutes with 2 minutes left to go in the game, is he just done for the game, or
Right,
or do you let him ride it out?
Let him ride it out.
You let him ride it out.
Especially,
Now, you always get that second win. If it's a close game and it's 5 minutes left, you're going to catch that second win. It's not going to matter how tired you are.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I will say the one thing that I don't hate about the lineup changes, I just wish they weren't as often. But, bringing in some of these bench players, Almanor, Garrison, those are 2 guys that don't normally, hit a lot of threes or anything. But they can come out and hit 2 or 3, 4 threes in a game, and that's a complete game changer.
Yeah.
Because that completely changes the defense. They have to have, either run a smaller lineup or there's a mismatch somewhere.
Yeah.
And that really helps us, and we can start to thrive off that and have breakdowns and have, have that extra pass and have that open guy
Right.
because there's that extra threat on the court. So I don't hate it as much, but I don't want to see a full line switch.
Yeah. I think at all times you need either Lamont Butler, Otega Owe, or Amari Williams on the floor.
You gotta have one of those three.
You got to have one of those three on the floor at all times. You can, that's where you get into subbing those in and out with that 1 and 2 line change. Kind of like we seen against LSU.
I would almost say you want to see 2 out of the 3 of those in.
I would be better with 2 out of 3, but you, at bare minimum,
Gotta have at
one of
least
those
one.
3 has to be in. You can't sit all 3 of those at the same time,
No.
especially getting into March like we are.
Yeah, it's kind of we're kind of starting getting away from bringing in Travis Perry, Trent Noah, and Colin Chandler.
Yeah, unless they're just hot.
Unless they're hot. Now if they're hot, leave them in, let them cook.
Yeah, I mean the Sweet Mountain Angel baby, he can catch fire at any point in time. Ain't that right, Austin?
I think you mean the Mountain Mamba. It's the Mountain Mamba.
Disrespect Coach.
Honestly, though, I would say we just need to have at least 2 starters on the court at any given time.
For sure.
Yeah.
You need to have Carr in there.
Yeah.
You need to have Brea in there, which Brea usually stays on the court a lot. Most games he's our minute leader.
Yeah,
on the team.
which that was what I was going to say. I'm glad you brought him up. Against LSU, he didn't play very well.
No.
He only had, 6 or
6
7
points.
points? Yeah. So, I mean, the fact that we were able to, get everybody involved and him not score what you'd expect looking at that final box score.
And he only had a rebound and an assist. Yeah, but he played 29 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, just the threat of him alone, though.
Brings a whole new dynamic.
Yeah, it completely changes that defense.
Yeah, no, I agree with that 100%. So now, we lose to Auburn, dog walk LSU, moving into the final game of the regular season. Kentucky traveling down and over, whatever the logistics is of that.
West.
I think it's just West.
Just west.
Just
Yeah.
over.
Going to Missouri, Columbia.
I think they've lost 4 out of the last 5 games, haven't they?
So they've lost their last 2. Going back into February, they beat South Carolina.
Yeah.
What? Lost to Arkansas, beat Alabama. Whenever they beat Bama that night on February 19th, I mean, they looked
good.
They looked like they were about to turn it on.
They looked really good.
Next game out, lose to John Calipari and the Arkansas Razorbacks. Hey, we know it can happen.
It can happen.
It can happen.
Cal's always going to get that 1 or 2.
Yep. Then they beat South Carolina by about 100. But then the last 2 games, at Vanderbilt and at Oklahoma, they lost both of those. Missouri's not a team that plays well on the road. All right, and that's the thing about all these losses. They've been on the road. I think they're 18-1 at home this year. So how does that look for Kentucky? If we're looking at the betting lines, Missouri is favored 3.5, 4.5 points, depending on where you look at it. 21-9 is their record. Kentucky obviously 20-10. What do you think about that game, Gib?
I was also going to add in the matchup predictor for ESPN.
Yeah, go ahead.
Missouri has a 51.7%, and Kentucky has 48.3% chance of winning.
So with that matchup predictor of 51.7,
Yeah.
do you think that equates to a 4.5 point spread? I feel like that would be a little tighter than
I
that.
feel like that's like a 1.5, 2.5 point spread.
I would agree with that. I mean, if you say they have a 51% chance of winning, but then you're saying they're going to win by 5?
Yeah. Is there really that good of a chance to win?
Yeah,
I don't know. They pull their odds from all kinds of different places, though. So
that is true.
I mean, even ESPN contradicting each other with their matchup predictor and then their
their
betting
spread.
odds.
Yeah. How do you think that game looks Saturday? Yeah, that is a noon tip-off. Are they on? They're probably Central Time, right?
Yeah,
so that'll be
they're
11
Central.
for them. A little earlier in the day.
A little early.
We catch them lacking.
I think it hurts us more. It hurts
I
them.
think we might get caught
You
lacking.
think we're going to get caught lacking, Gib?
No, I think we perform. I think we play better though whenever we have early games.
But at
They
home.
really do.
But at home.
Yeah. Have we had a early game on the road?
I don't think we have.
I'm trying. I don't.
I don't.
It's not, nothing's coming to mind.
Florida, Bama, and Auburn, I know are home games.
Yeah, they were early.
1, 2 out of 3.
Gonzaga was midnight.
Yeah.
Duke was late. I don't know. This might be the first early
It might be.
road game.
I think it might be.
Georgia was late.
I think South Carolina's early too.
Yeah, but that was home, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was home.
Yeah, this may be the first early away game that we're getting. Does the hour time change? Does that mess with you?
I feel like it does.
You think it does?
I feel like it does.
I don't think it matters.
It doesn't matter at all.
So, like, what's the biggest time gap you've experienced, Bert?
About an hour.
About an hour?
Yeah.
I know most of us have been, in the 3-hour range. Did you all feel jet lag from any of that? Going to, Vegas, California, out that way?
Not really.
What do you think, Gib?
No, I haven't really experienced any type of jet lag.
I'm not either.
The only quote unquote jet lag I've had is literally like physically driving for like 8 hours, and I'm like, okay, I'm exhausted the next day.
Yeah.
But that's not because
The time change.
That's because I was on the
1 hour,
road focusing.
Not feeling it.
No.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope it doesn't.
I hope it doesn't. But I'm not feeling good about it.
Not feeling good about it at all.
I'm not feeling good about it.
What do you think happens in that game then, Bert? Kentucky taking on Missouri. Missouri ranked 15th in the country right now at the moment as well.
I just feel like, if we can play our game, if we can spread the floor and put up 30, 35 threes, I feel like it can be competitive. We can maybe even win. But if we try to do this dribble drive like we've been doing, they're going to run us out of the gym.
You think so?
I think so.
Dang. What do you think, Gib?
I think this is a game that's going to show, hey, we're locked in, we're ready to go. Yeah, we've had a couple mishaps here and there, but we're Kentucky. We're coming out, we're winning. And I feel like that's the message Pope's getting to them. And I believe these guys are going to pull out the win.
Yeah? Austin, what do you think? You've been locked in low-key on your Kentucky basketball.
I think Missouri wins it.
Think Missouri wins it?
Yeah, probably not what y'all want to hear, but
Hey, you give it to us straight.
I see Missouri wins it. I will say your all's best player will be probably Williams.
I think Amari Williams. He's kind of came into his own.
Yeah, he's really developed.
Yeah, he's turned it on. Beginning of the year, him coming up the floor, dribbling the ball, it scared the hell out of all of us.
Now
But now it's not that bad.
Now I'd rather see him than Perry sometimes.
it's not a no moment anymore.
Like, okay. Yeah, I agree with Gib. I'd rather see him bring it up sometimes than more than Perry.
You can't have Chandler bringing the ball. He turns it over every time he touches it.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to steal from a big guy too, because they got their
They
they
got that
the
long
arm
lead
out.
on. Yeah.
That and the guy that's going to be guarding that big man is also a big man.
Right.
So he doesn't have, super active hands, being able to backpedal and
Yeah.
poke out and have that awareness. So if Williams just makes a quick jab step or anything, dude backs off like, nah, I'm not getting burnt.
Yeah, that is true.
Versus, a Perry, a Chandler, one of those guys bringing it up. They're getting pressed.
Yeah. as soon as
Baseline to half court.
Yeah. As soon as they get the ball, they're getting pressure.
I feel like Williams is going to score 20 plus, but I feel like they're going to clamp your guards up, so it won't be enough.
They could. I do agree with Gib though. There's been times Perry's got the ball in the inbound. I'm like, give it to Amari. Like, what? Give it to the 7-footer. Come on.
Yeah, just toss it back to him. He
Yeah.
just inbounded it to you.
Just give it to him. He does. He has gotten a lot more confident for sure. One thing I will say too. So, I've always been under the kind of not assumption, but like impression. Sometimes it's good to lose later in the season.
Patino did it.
Patino did it.
Cal
did it.
Calipari did it.
A lot of the good Kentucky teams have taken a loss late in the year.
Look at the 2012 team. They were dominant all year long, and
Yep.
then they blow one against Vanderbilt in the SEC championship,
Yep, and that starts the run.
and that starts the run.
So, my question for you guys is, and this, goes for Kentucky, but I'll even say Louisville too. With one game left of the regular season, and then the conference championship and then the NCAA championship, would you like to see a loss between now and the start of the round of 64?
Absolutely.
No.
Absolutely.
No.
Austin says no. Why is that?
I don't know, I think that's an urban legend.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't
That's
want to
fair.
lose ever.
Well, man, no, I agree
Yeah.
with that. I don't want to lose ever.
I don't
but-
think there's such thing as a good loss.
Yeah?
I don't think so.
What do you think, Bert? You said yes.
I'm very superstitious. I feel like you get that one bad loss out of the way, and then you're set for the next 5 games, however many games it would be.
Okay.
So I feel like I'd be happy, if we lose tomorrow, it's whatever. But I feel like if we go down and compete in the SEC tournament, maybe lose in the in the semifinals or the finals, I'm okay with that.
That's what I was about to ask you. Where would you prefer that loss happen?
I prefer to lose in the semifinals of the SEC tournament.
Okay. Stuart, what do you think? Would you, at the end of the season here, do you want to see a loss before the actual tournament starts to, like, kind of get it out of your system?
Maybe regular season. I would not SEC like championship
Not-
or tournament
Right.
or any a tournament at all. I want to run hot.
Yeah,
I just want to take that and run.
But you don't want to burn out, in the Sweet 16.
Good teams don't burn out.
Yeah, I want to run hot.
You
Yeah.
run hot?
You think of I think it was a Syracuse team, maybe
well, NC State did it. Was it last
Yeah,
year?
maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
They were they were in the very first game of the ACC tournament, went through, won that, went
Yep.
through, made a deep March run.
Didn't they go
Final
Final Four?
Yeah.
And it's that was a team that was kind of bummy. It
It's-
wasn't anybody, and they went to the Final Four just off of running hot.
DJ Burns.
I'm
And see,
for it.
that's the thing about the NCAA tournament. I don't care how good your team is. On paper, you might supposed to be winning a national championship, just like Kentucky back in 2015, just like maybe Auburn this year.
2017, 2018,
Okay.
2019.
Okay.
Don't say
All right.
2020 we sucked that year.
Anyway, you might be great on paper, but anybody can lose on any given night.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee you're going to make it to the Final Four.
That's when it comes to heat checks. If you're on it, you're on it. You just got to be dialed in.
Yeah.
Just got to
I
keep
mean-
it fluid,
Yeah.
What do you think, Gib? Would you rather see a loss before March, before the actual tournament starts, or you think you want to run hot?
So my opinion is, we've already had a loss in March. That March 1st Auburn game, that counts as being in March.
Got it out of the way.
Got it out of the way. I don't want to see another one. I don't want to see the final game of the season be a loss. I would not want to have a loss in either tournament, ideally. But yeah, if there were to be a loss, I'd rather be early March. Then that gives you a couple games to finish off the regular season. Be like, hey, we got to lock in. This is it. We only have one or two more games that we could possibly lose before our season's over.
Yeah.
And it comes down to how much heart do you have at that point? Because either you have guys committed, or you have guys worried about going to the draft or going here, going there.
And I think it'll be different this year. We're not going to have a team full of guys wanting to go to the next level,
Right.
wanting to go to the draft. We're going to have guys that want to win a national championship before Kentucky.
No one's getting forced out.
Yeah, no one's
Yeah,
getting
it's
forced
not
out.
like, hey, we've got 4 point guards coming in next
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, you got to go
You
to
better
somebody
get out of
else.
here.
Boots get boogie,
Yeah.
boy.
You don't got to go home, but you can't stay here.
I mean, I kind of see both parts of it because, like Burke said, that 2012 national championship team, ran through the regular season, has that one loss at Indiana.
Fluke.
Cooks the SEC schedule 16-0, get to the SEC championship game, lose to Vandy. So I feel like it kind of brought them back down to earth. It's like, okay,
We can be beat.
we got to be tight.
So, I don't know. You think about the 38-0 team or 38-1 team.
Would they have been better off
With a loss.
to have lost a game
I think if they lost to
to Georgia?
a mid team right before the SEC tournament, they would have came down.
It would have humbled them.
You
Yeah,
think
I-
it would have hurt them?
I think it would have ruined them. Yeah.
No, I don't think it would have hurt them. I think they would realize hey, we're actually vulnerable here.
Yeah.
But they were riding so hot the entire year, it's impossible.
Because it seemed like that team, from
That
the
crazy.
Sweet 16 on, they kind of struggled a little
They
bit.
started struggling. That Notre Dame game,
That was a nail biter.
tight.
Mhm.
Well, so you think it would have hurt them?
I think it would have hurt them. I think they would have lost confidence, especially if it was a bad team. Be like, what the hell happened here?
Yeah.
And then they would have started playing into that. Oh, am I going to start playing like that again? Am I going to have another off night?
So what's
What have you?
unfortunate about that year is I was in boot camp, so I didn't see any of that season. I
Dang.
just read about it in letters. All right, so I didn't get to see any of that until I think the first game I watched was the regular season finale at Florida, and I think that's when Willie Cauley-Stein cocked it back and put it on that dude's head, right?
Yeah, he got charged for murder that night because he
Yeah.
killed that
But
dude.
that was the first game I seen of that whole season. But I almost think, had they lost in the SEC tournament, would it have humbled them, brought them down, be like, hey, we can lose. We 32-0, 33-0, whatever they would have been at that point. It's like, hey, we gotta lock in because we're not all about it like we thought we were.
Yeah, I running hot. I want you to run hot through the conference tournament and the NCAA tournament.
But it's so hard to do that.
I think you can do that, but 38-0 is like a different level.
Yeah.
Like you had to
Yeah.
have lost at least a couple times in the regular season to really know that you're like beatable and not like
Yeah,
But
you
to
have
be
that
fair-
human side.
yeah.
The SEC back then was a Mickey Mouse.
That is true.
There was, this is the first year they've been good in probably 60, but
This is definitely the strongest SEC conference.
This is the strongest basketball conference of all time.
no shot.
Yes, it is.
all
No
time.
shot.
You ever heard of the Big East?
I have.
Yeah, they were way better.
No. We could potentially have 4 number 1 seeds.
All right, let us know when you got like 8 of the top Sweet 16,
I know this
and
is
then we'll see.
this isn't
That'll
a
be the
Picks
good call.
podcast, but I will bet anybody here $20 that an SEC team does not win the championship.
I don't like those odds.
$50.
There's 64 teams. I mean,
Are they about it?
68
But
teams.
but
60
four
68.
four number 1 seeds. I mean, they
I
got
mean,
to
they're
be the
not going to get
best,
4
right?
number 1 seeds, but I don't know. I mean, I think the SEC is probably going to get 12 teams in.
I think so.
I mean, what is
The
a
East got 13.
12 out of 68 chance? What does that equal to percentage wise? That's not a very high percentage.
Yeah, but then there's also like there's freebies though. It's like basically Division II teams that get in. Half of them are,
Yeah.
or like not half, but I'd say like at least 12.
Right.
Like
Well, I mean, how many conferences are not like a power 4, power 5, whatever? it's
probably a
called?
lot.
Yeah.
There's
I mean,
probably
think about it, like the conference Eastern's in, they get an automatic bid.
Yeah,
whoever
OVC.
wins that. Yeah, OVC, the A
Sun
Sun,
Belt. I don't even know what
Sun
else
Belt,
there
the
is.
MAC. All these conferences get an automatic bid, so I'd say there's probably like 15 to 20
Yeah,
teams
Teams that- almost guared to not win it.
So if I'm mad,
I mean,
Yeah.
you call me crazy, but they're almost guaranteed to not win it.
Yeah, they're never going to win it.
so if my math's correct, it's about an 18% chance
that an SEC team
that an
wins.
SEC team will come out.
Would you be
Now
willing
take
to
it out.
wager on it
So at
anybody?
18% chance, what would that be on plus minus? That'd be plus 1,800? Or is that plus 18,000?
You would have to weigh it by the odds of the teams, though, is the thing.
Individually?
Yeah, it would be weighted by like, Kentucky and Bama and Tennessee, Auburn all having like a really good shot. That I think it would be probably close to an even line almost.
Well, I
off
know,
of what they're,
Auburn
like,
is
weighing
the
them.
favorite to win, but their odds, they're like plus 350, plus 400. And then Duke is like plus 400, same as them. Houston like plus 550. Alabama's plus 700.
I would say the top 10 odds are probably like 6 of them are probably SECs.
Potentially.
I mean, I don't know exactly. I haven't looked, but I mean, like a lot of them are going to be SEC, so technically that adds a lot of weight to it.
Yeah. I don't know, that'd be good. We might have to look into that.
Yeah,
See what
Yeah.
that actually
they might
comes
even make
up
odds for that.
Y'all know the crazy part here? Not the ACC, but Duke, as of yesterday, had a 24% chance to win the tournament.
to. Me and you've already talked about this. Duke
And
ain't
bet
winning
on
it.
it.
I'll
They-
double down.
Duke ain't winning it, bro.
We already got a bet on that. You want to go ahead and bet SEC team does not win the tournament?
No, I don't want to do that because, like, with our bet we have now, you're saying either Duke wins or I'm saying Auburn wins. If neither one of them win, then it's just
Null and
null and void.
Right.
But with the SEC team, it's I don't know. There's too many factors that play into that. I don't like it.
Just like football. Oh, SEC set up and win the championship, did they? No.
Because
That might have
Kentucky
been the
wasn't
biggest.
there.
Yeah, the Cats went there.
That's what they needed, yeah.
They needed Mark Stoops to rally the troops.
They needed that bum quarterback.
Brock Vanderturd.
Yeah.
What a bum.
Hey, don't talk about my brother like that.
Hey, it's not your brother, it's
That's
you.
you, buddy.
Sorry for the disrespect here, bro.
That's okay.
Maybe one day we'll start doing these on video and everybody can see that Matthew Burkhead is actually Brock Vandegrift.
That's what I did during my spare time this year.
Yeah.
I just went and
See,
played.
that's why we weren't good.
Yeah.
He's working a full-time job Monday through Friday.
And
Even
playing
some
football.
Even
Saturdays.
some
He's
Saturdays.
getting off work, heading straight to Kroger Field.
Yep.
I mean, that's dedication to one thing or another.
You see why I couldn't play very well. I was tired.
Yeah. I mean, he's out there, 10, 12 hours a day.
Hardly gets to practice.
Hardly gets to, yeah. When's he supposed to practice,
What's
kid?
practice?
What's practice? We're talking about
Practice.
practice.
You're talking about practice.
Not a game.
Not the game, not the game.
Practice.
Practice.
What a... That's a 10 out of 10 line.
Oh, my
yeah.
God.
One of the best of all time.
Go down in history.
What's your opinion on the Kentucky Missouri?
Oh, Gib, I think we're catching them at a good time. I really do. I think if we would have played them 2 weeks ago, after they, dog walked Alabama kind of low key. I mean, even though they did shoot 41 free throws in that game, that's a lot of free throws.
I mean, still dropped 110.
Still dropped 100, yeah, I guess. But I mean, anyway, I think we are catching them at a good time. Oklahoma just beat them by 12. Vandy beat them in overtime. I could see this being a game. Kentucky comes out and kind of makes a statement. I see this kind of being like whenever we played Texas A&M earlier in the year. Everybody's kind of doubting them at this point again, not looking too good. And I think this could be one where Mark Pope really rallies the team. Almost said Mark Stoops.
Hope he's not rallying the team.
And I don't want Mark Stoops anywhere near this basketball program.
No.
And what was your opinion on the loss? Do you want to lose now? Do you want to lose in the tournament? Where in the tournament?
So I'm kind of pulling from each of you. I don't like to lose like Austin. I think it kind of brings everybody down, humbles us like Burke said. But I also agree with you, Gib. I don't want to lose the last game of the regular season. I want the regular season to end on a high note.
Right. If we were to lose, say, this last game against LSU, and then come into this game against Missouri and win it, and finish the season on a win, be much better.
Yeah, I want to finish the regular season on a win, but I wouldn't be upset with kind of like Burke was talking, semifinals of the SEC tournament, maybe even the championship game. Play it tight. Don't get blown out. You can't get blown out.
Yeah.
But if you play it tight and lose, it's like, okay, we gotta be firing on all cylinders once this tournament starts up. That's kind of my thought on it. But then I agree with Stuart, running hot. You gotta, what was you gonna say?
I did get the odds that an SEC team would win the championship.
What are we looking at?
All right, so I ChatGPT'd it, and it broke down all the betting odds into percentages.
What's Auburn? Are they plus
22? They're plus 350 on here.
Okay,
I don't know if that's updated or not.
That's what they were when I looked earlier in the week on FanDuel.
Dude,
and that's
the same exact odds.
And that's a 22.2% chance of winning. And then it's like Florida at 12, Bama at 7.6, Tennessee at 7.6, A&M, Kentucky, and Missouri are all in the twos.
That's disrespect.
And they added it all up. That right now there's roughly a 57.76% chance, 57.76 chance that any given SEC team will win.
So if you love that on FanDuel,
that's minus money. Yeah, that's probably minus like 120, 130 maybe. So his bet was actually giving me
odds.
Yes.
You want to bet it? I'll put 50 on it.
Yeah, that's it. You're getting better than FanDuel odds here.
I don't like it at all. Problem is, all right, I'm going to say it, SEC, I mean, they're hot this year. Obviously, everybody agrees with that. They're playing well. We kind of choke when it comes tournament time, the conference as a whole.
Yeah.
Tennessee, never been to a Final Four. Auburn, I mean, it's Auburn.
When's the last time they went to one?
96.
2017.
Did they go in? They didn't go in 7.
They beat the Tyler Hero team.
But that was in the Sweet 16?
I thought that was the Elite Eight.
Was it the Elite Eight? I don't know. They might have went to the Final Four because they beat Kansas, North Carolina, and us that year.
Yeah.
So they might have went to the Final Four in 2017.
We can go ahead and take Tennessee out of the running.
Yeah, Tennessee's not going to win.
They're not going.
Auburn could win it. Alabama, I think, could legitimately win it. Missouri's not going to win it.
No.
Texas A&M's not going to win it. Kentucky, our odds are better than Texas A&M and Missouri, but not as good as Alabama. I would throw us, somewhere in the middle there. Who else we got? Vandy. If Vandy makes the tournament, I think
they're in.
I think they're in. They're not going to win it.
Arkansas is
not going to win it. Who else?
Does Arkansas go further than Kentucky?
Does Arkansas go further than Kentucky?
I've already got a bet with Bert.
What's the bet with Bert?
Arkansas goes further than Kentucky.
Do you think they do or don't, Austin?
Yeah, I do.
What kind of money you got on that?
We got
25.
$25 at Arkansas.
Well, we also had 25 on Arkansas having a better regular season. I lost 7.
It's impossible at this point.
Yeah.
Arkansas's lost
more than
14
us.
games.
But I do think Cal's probably more clutch than Mark Pope.
They're
I'm just
18
gonna
and
put it
12.
out
The
there.
past 4 years he hasn't been.
Well, Mark Pope also hasn't been clutch.
But he also,
Yeah.
he also
Lost first round to a bunch of bums.
Yeah,
It was Yale. Okay, it was Yale.
Bums.
bums. They
the smartest team in the tournament.
13
Yeah.
seed
I mean, imagine
or 11.
they're pre-game. They're looking at analytics, stats, figuring out how they can win this game,
They're in there writing essays.
about how they're going to win the game.
Yeah.
Then they won the game, which is more embarrassing.
But I mean, you got to think he had Noah Waterman, he had Ali Khalifa.
Yeah.
Where are they at now?
Who are those? Yeah, they're
No,
Loserville.
Waterman's a
That
Louisville.
BYU team was crazy hype though.
Yeah.
I mean, they were kind of hyped up.
Yeah.
But then they got dog smacked.
Which his teams at BYU, even Utah Valley, are very, very similar to what he's done this first year at Kentucky. Even at BYU, he went into Kansas last year, beat Kansas at Kansas by like 20, and then the next game turned around and lost to USF or UCF, 1-2.
Sounds
Yeah.
about right.
So I mean,
It's like he puts everything into beating good teams, which brings me to my next question: Is a good win? How's a good win compared to a bad loss? I feel like a bad loss is worse than a good win.
I think it depends on how many you get. Like if you get one good win but take 4 bad losses, I think definitely it's like, hey, you kind of messed it up here.
Yeah,
But if you get 5 good wins versus 2 good, or 5 good wins versus 2 bad losses, then it kind of outweighs
right.
itself.
But let's say it's 5 good wins, 5 bad losses.
I think that's the definition of mid.
mid.
Yeah, I think the 5 bad losses outrank it.
Yeah, I agree with that. In Kentucky, we've definitely had some bad losses this year. I think what's saving us at this point is we have probably 8 really good wins.
Yeah.
The Louisville game turned out to be a really good win. Duke, Gonzaga,
Tennessee
Tennessee
twice.
kind
Unranked
of fell
now.
off. Tennessee twice.
Florida.
Texas A&M,
A&M.
Mississippi State. We played a lot of good teams. I think if he would have lost Duke and then Tennessee,
It would be a whole different
it would be a
story.
whole different story. Yeah,
If y'all play Duke today, who wins?
probably Kentucky.
where are we playing?
Neutral.
Probably Kentucky.
I say Kentucky.
We already beat them once. Might be a little bias showing. I don't know. But no. So back to your first question though. Who do you think goes farther in the tournament? Cal or Pope?
Come on, Gib.
Non-biased standpoint.
Honestly, I could see them both getting knocked out in the same round.
Well, we'll have to revisit this whenever the actual bracket
Yeah,
comes
once
out.
the final bracket's out.
Is there still a world where Arkansas doesn't make the tournament?
I think they'd have to
I think
vote.
they're in.
Maybe if they lose tomorrow and lose the first round of the SEC tournament.
I know that a few weeks ago there was talk of them being in one of the play-in games.
And I think a lot of teams would have to win too. Like a lot of not so good teams would have to win to knock them out.
Yeah.
But I think they're in.
Dude, here's the thing. I get letting all these little schools in if they win their conference, but that's what makes March Madness, but still, if you put, a mid-grade SEC team, Arkansas, in those conferences, they dog walk it.
Yeah, Arkansas versus James Madison.
Yeah.
That's a dog walking.
So as of right now, Arkansas is one of the
11
last
seed?
4 buys.
Last 4.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't play in the playing game. They would automatically be in the round of 64.
Does that make them a 11 seed?
Probably like an 11. I could see that.
Maybe a 10 seed if they get lucky? Maybe.
Yeah. Wonder how is wonder what the Arkansas fan base is like right now.
Probably not too happy.
They had big expectations coming into the season. Some things went their way, some things didn't go their way. Obviously beating Kentucky, that they got to be happy about that for the whole year.
That was their
At
championship.
Rupp.
At Rupp. That was huge for them. But what are their just overall feeling of the first year of Cal? I wonder.
Disappointment.
They're better than they were last year, no?
Well.
Well.
They're better than they were last year, but
The SEC was dog trash last year, too.
before they had went to 2 Elite Eights and a Sweet 16 under Musselman in the last 5 years, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
But once again, the SEC was not good in those
Yeah.
past years.
And it's funny, actually. I seen a picture, a post on Twitter today, and it was like the last 10 SEC teams to make it out of the first 2 rounds of the tournament. Arkansas was on there like 4 or 5 times. They're like, they were kind of dogging Kentucky fans, like, how come you all aren't on this list? It's like, you realize you took the coach that kept us off this list.
Yeah.
Like, I get it, you beat us, that's great, but like, the reason we've not been on that list in 5 years is because of the guy that you hired away from us.
Yeah.
But I do think it's kind of different in a way now, just because he's not relying on freshmen,
Yeah. I think that'll be the big thing is for Cal's success at Arkansas is how is he able to utilize the transfer portal?
Yeah, he's not used to it.
Yeah, he's not used to it.
But if he's not used to it by now, will he ever get used to it?
Right. I mean, and that's the thing. Once the portal started, ramping up, we had some good gets out of the portal at Kentucky.
Reed Travis.
Reed Travis was dog.
Uh-huh.
Trey Mitchell was a good player for us out of West Virginia. And Nate Sestina
Yeah.
out of Bucknell wasn't bad.
What's his name? Came from Creighton.
Davion Mintz.
Davion Mintz, yeah.
Yep. Severe Wheeler, he was kind of a bum, but he did okay there for a little bit until him and Oscar decided they weren't going to get along anymore.
Yeah.
That was crazy. Speaking
Oscar.
Oscar Sheboy.
Oscar Sheboy, yeah.
I think Oscar Sheboy may be my favorite Kentucky player of the last, 5 years.
Oh, by far.
Maybe
Even better than Reed Shepherd.
I like Oscar better than Reed Shepherd. Not not just because of what Reed Shepherd did with the whole Arkansas thing, wearing the Arkansas shirt.
But he also had Kentucky shorts on.
He did, but he
It
could
could have
have
been that way.
flip-flopped
It could have
that.
flip-flopped
He should have flip-flopped it.
But Oscar stayed 2 years.
Oscar stayed 2 years. Just put up ridiculous
Yeah.
numbers. Did y'all see what he did recently, actually?
In the G League?
So he played 3 games in 24 hours. He played 1 G League game, 1 NBA game, and then another G League game. In 24 hours, put up monster numbers in all 3. He played in the NBA, I don't remember what night it was. One night, this week or last week, I think he had it was 16 points and 12 rebounds.
Dude is
What-
balling out in the G League.
What team?
Indiana?
I
I think it's Indiana, isn't
is
it?
it Indiana or Jazz?
I think it's Indiana.
Oh, the
Might have
Jazz.
been against the Jazz that he did
I was gonna
that.
say if it's with the Jazz, they probably need to keep him. They need help bad.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised.
I'm surprised he hasn't made it. I think his size is what hurts
Yeah,
him.
he's a little too small. If he was a better ball handler, he'd be in the league for
Yeah.
sure.
I've seen a video of him, and it's the same thing it was in Kentucky. The ball gravitates towards him
Yeah,
on
it's
rebounds.
amazing how he does it.
It's insane. Especially being 6'9", I'm just surprised. I'm really surprised he's not on a legitimate NBA roster full time.
If he was 6'11", he'd be a problem.
Yeah. He's a problem anyway.
He's
I
probably.
love him. I got the Oscar poster of him standing on the podium like an Oscar. Y'all remember that?
Yep.
No. Whenever he was on the National Player of the Year campaign, whenever they started putting stuff out for him, it's him standing on the podium like an Oscar, holding the basketball. Super cool.
He's also my grandma's favorite player.
Is he?
Yeah.
I bet he is. Dude, that run, insane that he had. Well, remember the Western Kentucky game that we played because Louisville backed out doing what players?
Yeah.
So they had too many COVID cases. He had 20 rebounds.
Yeah.
Solid. What a guy. All right, let's move in. We'll give our Kentucky-Missouri official predictions. Austin, we'll start with you.
82-71.
Missouri.
Yep.
82-71 Missouri. You think Amari Williams still going to go off, though?
Yeah.
All right, what do you think?
He's Earl's best player.
I agree with that.
I'm going to say 78-75, Cats on top.
78-75, Cats on top. Who do you think leads us to victory?
I feel like Oway gets back on his horse and he just leads us to the promised land.
I love it. Stuart, you want to get in on this one, or you want to skip?
Come back to me.
Come back to me? All right. Give what you think.
I think this is going to be a higher scoring affair. I'm going to say 93-89. Cats.
93-89 Cats.
Wow.
All right, I agree with Gibb. I think it's gonna be a high scoring game. Looking at the last 5 Missouri games, they've been in the 90s, up in the hundreds. I think final score for this one. Actually, Gibb, real quick before I say mine. Who do you think leads us to victory?
I think we're gonna have 2 players have a solid performance. I'm gonna say Williams is gonna have a good performance, probably 18 to 20 points. Maybe gets himself another double rebounds, and then let's see. I'm gonna say Carr's gonna have himself a pretty good game.
Think so?
15 points.
We're kind of due one.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Just have a kind of a bigger performance, big man performance.
I like it. All right, like I said, I agree with Gibb. I think it's going to be high scoring. I'm going to say Kentucky 97, Missouri 89. 97, 89. Cats win. I think this is going to be a big game. I think Amari Williams is going to have a big game from here on out. I don't think there's going to be a night where he doesn't get at least double-digit points, close double-digit rebounds. Need it bad. I think where we really shine in this one, I think bench play comes out again, performs really well. I think, Colin Chandler, Ansley Almanor, Travis Perry, Trent Noah all give, maintenance minutes. People you can put in there and nothing bad happens.
Well, minus the nothing bad happens.
I'm going to say nothing bad happens.
I was going to say Garrison. He's definitely been.
How many punches he thrown him?
I mean, probably at least 2, but
I left him off for a reason.
I'd say he's probably going to have 2 good threes that are going to help separate at a certain point in the game.
He's really, last few games he's actually turned on.
He's done great defensively, offensively.
Yeah.
He's just been overall, you can see him locking in.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I think bench play comes out big. I'm going to say a player we don't see a lot of is Kobe Brea. I think.
Yeah, he's kind
agree with that.
of going
aggressive.
the bad way.
Yeah. I think Kobe Brea probably goes 2 for 7, maybe 7, 8 points.
He heard he wasn't the best shooter anymore and he got scared.
What's crazy is he's still top 5 in the country, but he just has so much trouble getting the shot off.
Yeah.
He hesitates too much. As soon as you get it off screen, shoot, pull it.
Yeah, there's a lot of times where he'll go to look for that extra pass,
Yeah.
realize it's not there,
And then
he's lost time, and instead of getting that shot off, because he's more of a catch and shoot guy.
Yeah.
He's not a make your shot guy, but you put it in his head, you just get it to him quick, it's coming out quick, it's going in quick.
Yep. I agree with that.
Do you think Owe is going to have another 20-plus point performance or sub-10-point performance?
I think he's right in the middle. I think he's in the teens.
In the
I'd
teens?
say 17. I'd say he's closer to 20 than 10.
Okay. Do you think he's 15-plus?
Yeah. Yeah, I would take Owe for 15 plus. I think he's got out of his head enough maybe, going off against LSU, had the good Oklahoma game, had the bad Auburn game. I think he's gonna go back to hopefully being what he was, all season long for us.
It just honestly, it just depends on, does he get the drives in, and does he get the and ones?
Yeah.
Does he drop those fouls, or is he getting hacked to death? Because if he gets hacked a couple times at the very beginning,
he shuts down.
He's shut down. He's done. He's like, I can't do this. They won't call anything for me.
Yep. And that's the thing, too, is how he plays defense. In the first 10 minutes of the game, does he have 0 fouls or 2 fouls?
Right.
Because that plays a big part in his mental game, obviously. If he picks up quick fouls, he's sad.
Him or Williams, both of them, if they pick up 2 quick fouls,
Yeah.
done for the game.
They're very sad boys.
But if they don't, they ball out of control.
Yeah. I agree with that. All right, Stuart, what do you think? Missouri, Kentucky.
92-87. Missouri.
Caught us on that one.
We've been betting. It's at Missouri, right?
At Missouri, yeah.
See, we've been picking the best team on the road. We think, oh, that's cash. It never is.
Never cash.
Never. I don't know why. It just never is. So I'll take the home team.
Yeah. I mean, that's not bad. I do agree. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game.
I think the over's going to hit.
Yeah.
What's it at? Like 170 right now?
Yeah,
I see
170
168.5.
Oh, I'd slam that one.
Yeah, I like the over in that.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, guys, we got anything else we want to add for the Kentucky Prime Sports Podcast?
When does conference play start? When does SEC start?
The tournament starts on Wednesday.
Wednesday
is the first round. Thursday will be second round. Friday, Saturday. Do they play Sunday?
Championship game's on Sunday.
Championship game on Sunday.
Do we maybe do a early pod for next week and try and do something in the middle of the week to get our predictions in and for like once the bracket comes out and no seeding?
Maybe do it Wednesday.
Just do like a quick like react, not like our hour and a half, whatever it is, but just a quick like 15-20 minute. How do we like the matchups? How do you think we're gonna do?
Yeah. Well, so we might do the pod, or we've got the website Kentucky Prime or kyprime.com. Don't type in Kentucky Prime, you won't find us. But kyprime.com. Maybe we all sit down, talk about it. We might write an article, get that working up.
Don't hate that idea either.
Or we make the trip to Nashville. Take over Tin Roof in Nashville. The hell with KSR. We're taking it over.
Just walk in like the Kentucky Prime team's here. I don't know if y'all heard about us.
And we just do our show down there next week.
We just sit in Matt Jones' chair.
Yeah.
He's like, "Who the hell are you guys?" We're like, "Who are you
Who
guys?"
are you?
We're your replacement, buddy.
Yeah, they called us. Tin Roof's like, "We don't know how to do that." All right.
They'll know.
Yeah, they'll know. But like, you ever heard of Nick Saban's house in Kentucky?
We live next to it, buddy.
Yeah. Figure it out. Might have been some fishing in that pond. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, but this is going to be wrapping up our Kentucky Prime Sports Podcast. Once again, we appreciate everybody listening. Don't forget to check out the Kentucky Prime Picks Podcast. It's not just sports betting; it's a little bit of everything. If you like to read your news, check out kyprime.com. Check out the Facebook page. All of our posts get shared to there. Going to be updating as the SEC and March Madness tournament starts rolling around.
Have a lot of predictions on there.
We will have a lot of predictions, a lot of good news, everything you need to stay up to date. All right, guys. Have a good night. Hope you enjoyed it. I know we did.
Go Cats.
Go Cats.